Hey folks, it's Mad Creator, Demok the Artist, coming at you from my hidden bunker deep within the bowels of the city. And I kind of wanted to break my silence, at least for the time being, in regards to the whole NFL kneeling during the national anthem. Now, as many of you may or may not know about me, I'm actually something of a patriot to some degree. I have family that served in the military. I have friends and loved ones that served in the military and that also have, taken great risks on behalf of this nation. So as far as I'm concerned, um, I can understand why some people would get a little bit upset in regards to athletes kneeling during the Pledge of Allegiance or the national anthem. However, I kind of want to throw a few thoughts out there in order to, at least as far as I'm concerned, explain why I feel the way I do. You know, the United States is an awesome country. It honestly is. The fact of our resources, our diversity, our ability, and to accomplish great and awesome things, as well as our liberties and rights that we have under the Constitution. Our history, on the other hand, leaves a lot to be desired, especially when it comes to other members of the United States, specifically African Americans, Native Americans, and others that have faced discrimination and are still facing discrimination and mistreatment by authorities, etc. And so, if you're in a position where you're living in a country that is basically treating your fellow insert demographic rather shamefully, then you're not necessarily going to feel that same amount of loyalty as someone that has never faced that kind of persecution or that kind of harassment or that kind of, devilish behavior, for lack of a better term. And Colin Kaepernick, while I don't necessarily agree with everything he does, he has a right to take a knee in protest during the national anthem, and I understand why he's doing it. And a lot of other Americans don't, because they've never ever had to face that kind of discrimination throughout their entire lives. Not once. Now, before some of you guys start, going, oh, here we go. Listen, I'm not talking about economics here. I'm not talking about whether or not you're poor or whether or not you come from a privileged family. I'm talking about how you are treated simply because you have a different skin color than somebody else. And what's going on in this country now is that we are becoming the very antithesis of what this nation was supposed to be. And it's great that people within the NFL, the management and the owners within the NFL are starting to realize this, that these players do have a point. And so they're supporting their players, locking arms with them, standing with them, so that way the players understand that we are with you 100%. We may not necessarily agree why you're doing it, but we're supporting your right to do it. Now, when it comes to NASCAR, I don't watch the sport. I don't watch any sport really, unless it's like the Super Bowl or the World Series, or I get tickets or something like that. NASCAR specifically, I don't watch because it's, not really my thing. But in this particular instance, they decided that they were going to fly flags supporting not only Trump, but also the Confederate flag. Now, in my opinion, the Confederate flag is a symbol of treason. Absolute 100% treason against the United States. Anybody that flies that flag, anybody that wears those colors, anyone that is proud of the so-called heritage of the Confederate States of America is supporting treason against the United States. So that being the case, if NASCAR wants to ally themselves with traitors to the United States of America, that's even much more of a reason for me not to watch NASCAR. That's it. As far as I'm concerned, loyalty to your country is more important than loyalty to a flag or a bit of free verse. You can be loyal to a flag to some degree, but the thing is, that flag represents something, and it represents your fellow Americans. Now, if you're loyal to the flag, but you're not loyal to your fellow Americans, you have no right to call yourself a patriot. You have no right to call yourself an American at all. If you're going to fly a flag of treason, you had better not fly the Stars and Stripes, because you know what? That Confederate flag means something. But it's more important to be loyal to your fellow Americans, being loyal to the people that are in this country with you. And if you're not willing to be loyal to your fellow Americans, you have no business calling yourself a patriot, no matter what kind of a job you have. Anyway, those are my thoughts. This is Mad Creator, Demonic the Artist, signing off. Have a nice day.